Just appreciate this opportunity to come here. I know I see you guys a lot throughout the season sporadically, and I appreciate all the support you guys give us. But our first event is this weekend at Olympia Fields, which is perennial, but one of the best one or two or three events in college golf every season. So it's a big deal for us because you host it. It's a lot of innate pressure, if you will, for a coach and a program to put on a good event with Olympia Fields, but also it's big for our team. Usually this is our second event of the year, but this year it's our first. So we've been qualifying and kind of battling ourselves through scrimmaging and, if you will, for golf, but practice rounds and qualifying on campus. And we're excited to get this thing going. So this is the weekend for us. We have 4 events in the next 5 weeks. So it's kind of scrunched in. Usually not that compact, but this year, for myriad reasons, it's kind of condensed, and I'm excited about it. We got some good returning players. We got some new added transfers and added freshmen. We also have a few guys who are returning that were in our 4 and 5 spots last year that have improved this summer. So it's going to be an exciting fall, and the fall is important for us. For you, those of you that know college golf, the wins and losses still count in fall just as much as they do in late spring. So it's important to get off to a good start, but the fall also you want to kind of find out what you have. Put your guys in some uncomfortable situations and put them in events against teams that are really, really good, and maybe some teams that maybe you should beat, and kind of create all different kind of scenarios for your guys to get better. So that's what we're going to try to accomplish in the next 4 to 5 weeks.
I know you said you hadn't seen much of Dane and Freddie in person playing. So what have you learned about those 2 transfers since they've gotten here?
Oh, I love them. I think they're great. They're great kids. They fit perfectly into our program. Dane is a junior. Freddie's a sophomore. They both come with some obviously some success in college golf. They both won events. Dane won a bunch last year, and Freddie won a big-time Division I event as a freshman. So we know they bring a record with them, but their personalities, their desire to get better, their appreciation for what we have here has been awesome. And I think the future bodes well for both of them. And now, obviously, in golf, you coach everybody differently because they're all different players, come from different backgrounds, different fundamentals, and the progressions are different too. They grow at different times. But I think the end result for these 2 players is going to be very positive.
I know you were deciding between like Sahali and Boltzmann. What was the reason neither of those worked out for like the opening event?
Well, yeah, we're starting later this year. We always kind of, you're exactly right, Robert. Sahali, Boltzmann the same week, and then Olympia follows. In college golf, you make your schedule a year in advance. Well, we were looking forward. We knew we were going to get into the portal at some point this year because we had a small team last year, and we anticipated some things happening. So way ahead of schedule, we were looking into doing that. And it just turned out that, when I lost my train of thought here. When you schedule so far in advance, you don't know who your roster is going to be. So with those 2 guys, not knowing they're going to be here or not, I didn't want to schedule an event so early, not knowing our team. But at the same time, Max Herendeen was being seriously considered for the Walker Cup. So as a coach, you're trying to plan for the future. And if you don't want to play your first event without your best player, and then not knowing who your team is going to be. So we decided to delay the schedule 1 week or 2 weeks and play 4 events in 5 weeks.
What have you seen? You chose the teams that are going to be out there this week, and also when you play the players that aren't going to start for you, are you able to work them into the competition and keep their scores, or is that not possible?
That's a great question, Lauren. We have the number 1 team in the country, Oklahoma State, number 3, Texas, number 4, Florida, number 6, Arizona State. These are coaches' preseason polls, so 2 weeks ago. 9, Florida State, 11, Illinois, 13, Georgia Tech, and 15, Texas Tech. So 8 of the top 15 teams in the country. And we will have a chance to play some additional players since it's our event. We will take 8 on our roster up there this week.
What's the competition like for the back end of that rotation, given what you've added, what you have returning at the top? What have you seen from those players?
I think we're a good 7 or 8 person team deep, player deep this year. Trey Marion, Jake Birdwell, Ethan Wilson played for us last year throughout the year. Those guys are going to be competitive, obviously. They're getting better. In qualifying this week, I guess I can tell you, qualifying finished yesterday. And I've always conducted my schedule or my roster for the first event. I give the guys the ability to play for spots. Come in, compete, see who's been working all summer, who's ready to play the first event. Qualifying went to Dane Hulson, won qualifying by 1 shot over Max. And then Ryan Voice shot 7 under yesterday at Atkins to finish 3rd. Trey Marion finished 4th. Ethan Wilson finished 5th, and Jake Birdwell finished 6th. And so that's those first 5 are going to be the lineup this week. And then those other 3 guys with Freddie and DeJuan Snyman, freshman from Australia, is going to be our 8th man this week. So 3 guys will be out of the lineup, and the top 5 will be in the lineup.
What about Max's summer? Have you either heard or did you see him play so well this summer? And just kind of maybe flip a switch.
Max has been getting better since he's been here. This summer, I think he learned a lot about himself. He spent time on campus for the first time since he's been in college. Didn't go home to the West Coast and really addressed parts of his game that needed to be addressed. Obviously played in his first PGA Tour event, played well in the USAM, played solid in the Western Am, had a really good record. I think his record right now, I think, looked as 18 or 19 in the world golf rankings. So he's getting better, he's improving, but his game, he's just growing up, and he's learning how to deal with things that he never had to deal with before, expectations. He's addressing parts of his game that need help, and I think this is gonna be a big year for him. And you add guys like Dane this week. Those 2 are heading into coming down the battle yesterday, coming down the end of the qualifying. They were battling out who was going to win, and you feed off of that. It's good for him to have another Jackson Buchanan here to compete against and to push himself. And but Max he'll be a preseason All-American. He's on all the watch lists for all the awards. This is something he has to deal with and grow. But I'm excited about him and his future. But again, it ebbs and flows. It's not a perfect curve, a perfect straight line. It's going to go up and down, and it's something that he's going to handle, and I'm excited about this year with him. I really am.
Was it big for him to take down at the time world #1 in that USAM?
Yes, it was very big for him to do that, but it was equally big for him to not have his best the next day. He kind of have a letdown, and he's learning that stuff. And if you never experienced it, you don't know how to address it and how to get better from it. And when you beat the #1 player in the world, and it's a big high, and then less than 12 hours later, not unsimilar to the college playoff, a match play for us. When you beat somebody big or you have a great stroke play, then you got to turn around and reboot the next morning. His experience at the USAM was very similar to that. So he didn't have his best, but he played solid. But he realized that you got to stay in the moment. So this whole progression, this whole college golf, amateur golf thing for these young players before they turn professional, is a huge advantage for him. And I think the success he's had, if it's handled the right way, which it will be, is going to make him better and better.
You mentioned using the fall schedule to kind of figure out what you have as a team. Have you gotten any sense of that as you went through qualifying and figured out the lineup for this first week?
Yeah, I think our lineup will change a lot this year. I think it'll move. It'll come in and out. The schedule, as coaches, you want to find out who plays the best under certain situations, certain golf courses. But in golf, the last box in the scorecard tells a lot. So we're going to continue to use that as a barometer. But we're going to change lineups, I would think. I think our team is deep. Back to the previous question, we got 6 or 7 or 8 guys I think that can play major college Division I golf. Now, to what level, come April and May, I don't know yet. It's going to tell us a lot this year, how they play in certain situations and how they handle their growth and their ascent. So this fall schedule is perfect for us because the golf courses are all good. If you look at our schedule, and kind of back to Robert's point earlier, that we want to play against the best competition, but we also want to play the best golf courses. And so this year you go to Olympia Fields, you go to Knollwood up there in Chicago for Northwestern's event. Then you go play Moraine in Ohio, which is one of the best courses in the world. And then you go down to Fallen Oak in southern Mississippi against a lot of the SEC schools and a different kind of grasses and topography and everything else. It's all meant to get these guys better, and you put those together with a good climate, a good culture. I think that's how good things have happened for us in the past.
What do you think Jake, Trey, and Ethan learned about what it takes to stick in that rotation for you guys?
Consistency. We talked about that the other day. I think consistency in everything you do as a person, not only a player, is huge. Everything you do becomes a habit. I believe that. Everything you do, if you do it once, twice, 3 times, it starts becoming a habit. And the potential is there. I think Trey this week finished 4th in qualifying for our event. He had 23 birdies in 4 rounds, but he finished 4th. So the firepower's there. As a coach, it tells you the firepower's there. Jake, same way. But their bad golf, their mistakes are too prevalent. If you look at Dane and Max in their qualifying rounds, I think Dane had made 4 or 5 bogeys in 4 rounds. And they made some birdies, but not as many as Jake and Trey. Jake and Trey made the most birdies of anybody on the team. So if you're referencing another sport, you know, the dynamics or their ability to really explode is there, but controlling their emotions and their course management and the ability to limit mistakes is not quite there yet. Now that's youth; they're sophomores, but this year's the year they're going to have to understand that and grow. So that by the juniors and seniors, they'll have that figured out.
With about 5 years into PGA Tour U now, just curious your thoughts on the whole. I mean, I know the pressure got to Jackson last year. I mean, it's so much to heap on someone in addition to your senior year of college golf. So, what are your thoughts on how they use that now?
That's a great question, Robert. And I think the PGA Tour likes that because it exposes those guys to the pressure early. As college coaches, it may be a little too early, if you will. And I think the expectation from PGA Tour U, the one thing that frustrates college coaches is that because it's turning college golf, which is team golf. The major point we're all here is team golf. It's turning it into a lot of individual goals and aspirations, and kind of gets in the way a little bit. I think that's just human nature. We're not the only program last year that felt that. Kids are looking to where they're at, not only how their team is, you know, how they're doing against their own team, but how they're doing against every other person in the field. And what comes second or third is how the team finished. So it's just the progression of the sport. The PGA Tour U and the PGA Tour is giving these guys a lot of access to the tour and jumpstarting their professional career, which is awesome. But it's also getting in the way of the process of development. And our program is big about development and growing guys piece by piece and laying that foundation. And to Jackson's point, the point about Jackson last year, he had a great 2 or 3, you know, first years and growing, but this kind of put a little block in the way that he had to figure out. And I think he'll be better for it in the long run. But last year was frustrating for him and for his expectations. And you're right. If these kids never look at the PGA Tour U, I think they play better. But it's on social media every day, and it's on everything they're doing, and everybody's asking them about it. And it's difficult, but again, it is a plus and a bonus for them too. So it's a double-edged sword that I think as players and as all the athletes in all these sports, they're becoming more professional younger. It's at our sport now. They have to learn how to grow with it and deal with it because it's not going to go away. I think the PGA Tour is excited about this opportunity for these kids.
For 2.5 decades, this will be the last one. You've always been able to get good players and be able to recruit really, really well. Are you seeing a difference when football is at the level that it is and men's basketball is at the level that it is to get kids and get families and get kids on recruiting trips even easier now? Is there a correlation there?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a bigger fan for these football and basketball programs here than our golf program. I mean, our guys love it, and we want these guys to do well, and we know that if they do well, the impression of the university goes up, and the impression for us goes up, and kids want to come play golf at an institution, obviously where they have good major sport success and vibe, and I think that's a big deal. But I think the way our programs go about it, Brad and Brett go about it, they're winning, but they're also building it. You've seen this whole thing grow, and that just shows these recruits and these families what the mission statement of this department is. It's matched our golf program, you know, from 20 years ago. So we use that in recruiting. It's still a tough world out there. I mean, these SEC schools and these warm weather schools know what to do, and they're building facilities like ours now down south. So it's always a never-ending process. But to have these guys have the success they're having and bring recruits on visits to these games is a huge plus for us.